Time now for the Day in Sport with Abby Dinham. And Abby, Socceroos coach Graham Arnold has his sights firmly set on the World Cup.
Yes, Janice, good evening. Socceroos coach Graham Arnold has told SBS News positions on the final World Cup squad are still very much open, and he hasn't given guarantees to any player. Arnold says he's feeling confident in his team ahead of November's tournament in Qatar.
Graham Arnold is usually on the sidelines, but today he was the centre of attention. Football fans at a charity event in Sydney couldn't get enough of the man who not long ago was at the centre of a storm. But having proved his critics wrong by getting the Socceroos to Qatar, he says the team is ready for the next stage.
We're just sending out the same message day after day to the boys, week after week, is, you've got to be the fittest you've ever been in your life.
Arnold's team will be reunited for the first time since beating Peru to qualify when they play New Zealand in a two-match series next month. The games in Brisbane and Auckland will be decisive in determining the final makeup of the Qatar squad.
No one signed a contract after the Peru game. No one was given any guarantees. It's all down to fitness and performance and who's in a great mindset.
Arnold's leadership backed fully by the man who led Australia to its first World Cup in 1974.
And what a wonderful start for Australia here in Hamburg.
Rally Rasic full of admiration for Arnold's achievement in guiding the Socceroos to a fifth successive finals appearance.
I really cannot tell you how much I'm proud that he has done it and done it for the country.
Alongside the Australian greats, two international legends shared some of their wisdom. Toto Schillaci, whose 6 goals for Italy in the 1990 World Cup won him the Golden Boot, describing Italy's failure to qualify this year as a very sad moment. He says he'll be watching Australia closely instead.
I've always been a great admirer of the Australian team, and they are doing quite well. And of course, I will be a supporter of Australia during the World Cup.
The Socceroos will need all the support they can get once they arrive in Qatar. Their coach says the tough group, including the defending champions, is a blessing in disguise.
Everyone calls it a group of death, but I call it the group of dreams, because it's what an opportunity to play against a world champion in France first up, and our boys will be ready.
Amelia Dunn, SBS World News.
And a reminder, you'll see every Socceroos match and the rest of the tournament live and exclusive on SBS and on demand from the 21st of November. The Wallabies have bounced back to form in the Rugby Championship, beating South Africa in Adelaide. Marika Koroibete was the standout player, Australia the winners, by 8 points.
Despite Australia not losing to the Springboks on home soil since 2013, a record loss to Argentina had left big question marks over Dave Rennie's side. Fraser McWright in the right place at the right time early.
Sharp again, McWright! It's a blistering start!
The Wallaby scrum was up to the task against the visitors' bigger pack, and Marika Korobiete's flying tackle to deny a certain try will be an instant highlight reels hit.
Looks to launch over Marika. He's into touch.
And it was the Fijian-born flyer that lit up the same corner of Adelaide Oval in the second half, this time with a ball in his hands.
Yeah!
And when McWright crossed for his second try of the afternoon, the world champions were out of contention.
Right! There's his second, and it is a stunner.
South Africa scored 2 late tries to deny Australia a bonus point, but the win restores much-needed pride and confidence for the rest of the Rugby Championship. Korobiete's performance the standout.
I reckon he's the best winger in the world right now. So, like as you saw today, he's a freak, and yeah, I'm just happy that I'm one of his teammates, not opposing him.
It was a bruising encounter between the Wallaroos and the Black Ferns in the earlier match, and a try-on debut for Bien Tarita gave Australia belief a first-ever win was possible. But New Zealand was too strong down the stretch, keeping Australia winless for the 22nd time in succession. John Baldock, SBS World News.
After a 2-year break, the traditional AFL Grand Final Parade returns to Melbourne next month with a major twist. For the first time, the parade will involve boats on the Yarra River, and that will be followed by a motorcade that will see the teams cross the William Barrack Bridge.
We've got a 4-day festival this year and a hybrid parade. The parade will start with boats going down the Yarra and the traditional motorcade through Yarra Park. Finishing here, we'll have a presentation with the competing clubs.
The Victorian State Government expecting up to 300,000 people to line the Yarra to watch the parade. Round 1 of the AFLW continued with a dominating performance by North Melbourne over the Gold Coast. The Suns were kept scoreless for the first 3 quarters. Sydney Swans lost their debut match. West Coast opening their season with a win at home against debut side Port Adelaide. Facing a 2-goal deficit in the final term, Ash McCarthy put the Eagles back in touch, sparking a run of 4 unanswered goals. Last season's Wooden Spooners working hard on improving fitness.
People have worked on really hard. We had a lot to improve on from last year, and fitness was one of them. So I think we had a lot of belief that we'd be able to run out the 4th quarter, and it was just anyone can kick the goals, and I was lucky that I got on the end of that one.
The Eagles hoping the win sets the tone for their season and the side's development. Sydney Swans fans turned out in good spirits to see their side's first ever match in the AFLW this afternoon, but it didn't turn out the way they wanted against St Kilda. The visitors ran out comfortable 29-point winners at North Sydney Oval. In the NRL, the Canberra Raiders have put themselves in the box seat for a finals berth with a big win against the Sea Eagles. Last night, the Panthers overpowered the Warriors and the Roosters down the Storm. The Raiders way too good for Manly. Canberra scored early through Jordan Rapiner to take control, and the Raiders went on to secure their biggest ever victory against the Sea Eagles. Their superior points differential over 9th placed Brisbane gives Canberra an edge going into next weekend. The Roosters have continued their unbeaten start to the NRLW season with a 20-point win over the Broncos. Playmaker Racy McGregor creating a headache for her former side, finding Sam Bremner for a try on half-time before another former Bronco, Jamie Fressard, crossed for the Roosters' 5th. Red Bull driver Max Verstappen has topped the times in practice for the Belgian Grand Prix, but he's also one of 6 to be hit by engine penalties. Verstappen was eye-catchingly quick, 0.86 of a second faster than his nearest standings rival, Ferrari Charles Leclerc, but both men were among the 6 punished for using too many engine parts. They'll both have to start the Grand Prix from the back of the grid, no matter where they finish in qualifying. Rain made life difficult for many, including Haas driver Mick Schumacher, who came off the track. Daniel Ricciardo ended the session 9th quickest. And that's the day in sport, Janice.
Thanks so much, Abby. Well, coming up